Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. I am excited to share with you a story about one of my many techniques for enjoying instant mind and emotional relief. And I really want to share this idea because it is something that has worked phenomenally well for me. It's something that I do fairly frequently, and it's something that I truly enjoy. And a lot of people, well, everybody can do it. Most people can do it. And it doesn't require much, but it's something that a lot of us never really even consider. And it's so simple, but it's so rewarding when you actually do it. I'm not talking about, taking medications or drinking some sort of energy drink or whatever it may be. It's something as simple as a soothing bath. Most of us have a bathtub in our homes, whether apartment or house or whatever. Most of us have warm water, right? And it doesn't require much more than that to enjoy. Of course, there are a lot of things that you can use to accentuate the experience, and I'm going to go over some of those things just because I want you to be able to experience the fullest experience and the most enjoyment that you possibly could. But really, even if you don't have anything in your home except for the hot water and the bathtub, this is a way that you can relax, get instant mind and emotional relief, really de-stress, and really pamper yourself and take care of yourself. So I want to share a story of one of the first times that I really realized the beauties of the bath. So I have always been a very productive and energetic and sort of trying to get things done, task-oriented type of person. And I never really took the time to take a long bath. I would get in the shower, do it as quickly as possible, get out, go on with my life. And honestly, a lot of my young adulthood and some of these recent years, I felt uncomfortable being quiet, being in peace, being in solitude. It was something that I avoided. I wanted to be busy all the time. You might say that I was addicted to busyness and being productive and getting things done. But being relaxed and being calm and learning to enjoy that peace and tranquility is something that is so rewarding. It's so energizing to just be able to be, just to be who you are by yourself and relax and unwind. A lot of us are honestly workaholics, right? We work all day, we work all night, we're studying, we're working, we're doing whatever we're doing, and we never really stop to take a breath, to relax, to enjoy. And so this is where I want to talk about one of the times that I took a bath. And I just, there's not one particular moment that I remember, but I just know that it was a time in which I was in the bathtub. Of course, you've got the little button there that you've just got to flip it up and it'll hold the water. And I think I was just taking my time, and I just decided to relax and unwind and just take a break. And it was really enjoyable. And as I've done it longer and longer and for longer periods of time, and also done it more times, there are some things that I just wanted to share. But I wanted to start off with actually a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's a famous hadith. He asked some of his companions, if someone were to bathe in the river 5 times a day, do you think that person would be clean? And his companions replied, of course, by God, there would be no dirt on him left. So the Prophet encourages us and he says, so God has ordered us to pray 5 times a day to wash our soul, our spirit, in the same way that we wash our body, and to purify the soul of any, so that no sins remain. And so that is the metaphor that the Prophet of God gave us to enjoy prayer and how important and how cleansing it is. But remember, the example he gave was bathing in the river. That's also highly recommended. And especially when I'm at work and I'm making wudu ablutions before it's time to pray, people ask me, Omar, what in the world are you doing? It's like, well, we Muslims, before we pray to God, before we see the master of the universe, or before we communicate with the master of the universe, we've got to prepare by washing our bodies before we wash our souls. It's so built into our tradition. But a lot of us don't realize that, taking long baths can be something that is equally spiritually purifying. I'm not saying you don't have to pray anymore, just bathe. What I'm saying is it's another good way. It's another enjoyable way to wash your mind and your spirit and your soul, and of course your body. And it's very relaxing. So I wanted to start off with some of the benefits of the bath, right? So number one is physical comfort and ease, right? It really is relaxing. It really helps us to just spiritually unwind, physically unwind, take all the burden and the stress. And like a lot of us, we know we've got tension, right? All in our necks, in our shoulders, all around our chest area, right? There's a lot of tension that's built up. And taking that bath is very soothing for those aches and pains. A lot of you may know that if you ever sprain your ankle or if you hurt yourself in whatever kind of a way, then it's helpful to take a warm bath because it'll help to soothe and dull the pain. So there's a lot of physical comfort that comes from the bath. There's also spiritual relief and deep connection, again, depending on what you do in the bath. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But it's really nice to have a spiritual relief. Number one, you're cutting off from the rest of the world. You're cutting off from all of your obligations, from all of your stresses, and you're simply choosing to take that sacred time to relax, to do something nice for yourself, to calmly, peacefully go, and to connect with the Lord, right? When you are caught up with other people and other tasks and other work obligations, you're not connected as much to God. You're simply going through the motions in the worldly life. But when you're in that bathtub all by yourself, relaxing, smooth, nothing's on your mind, nothing's occupying you, you have the opportunity to connect directly with God in a way that can't be done when you're caught up in the humdrum of life. So another thing that you get to do is emotional relaxation. And that connects with feelings of love and joy. Because when you're in that time and you're sort of by yourself in that time, you're able to access all of the things that are going on in your mind and quiet them down and to affirm the love and the pampering that you feel and that you deserve. A lot of us are honestly really hard on ourselves, I think, and I think that's a fair assessment. A lot of us have these ideas that we're not good enough, that we need to do more, that we need to push ourselves. And of course, we all want to grow, but part of life is acknowledging who we are and the value of our souls today and appreciating and taking care of our souls. The value and the sanctity of life is the highest ideal in Islam and in many other religions as well. And the sanctity of life is sacred. So we should be taking care of ourselves and nourishing ourselves, not just pushing ourselves to the brink. So there's a lot of emotional relaxation. One of the other things is that it's mental relaxation, right? You get to calm down, still the ever-present, ever-working mind, calm it down, slow it down, bring it to peace. And it relieves stress simply by being in the bath and getting the warm water to release the aches and pains of your body. It also gives you an opportunity to relax the woes and the stresses on your mind. Again, it's an act of soul love, and it's really nurturing for the soul. And one of the other things is that it helps you to rest. Being rested helps us to get back, taking a nice, warm, and relaxing bath helps us to rest and relax. And when you do that, you're really able to go back to school or work or whatever your obligations in life are. You're able to go back to them stronger, healthier, and better, and more recharged. And taking that rest for ourselves also helps us to take care of other people better. You can't take care of somebody else if you yourself aren't taken care of. A lot of us spend so much of our time giving and taking care of other people that we neglect our own selves. It's really important to be able to just unwind, be there, be present, and take care of ourselves. So you may be wondering, okay, so what are some of the things that you can use to enhance the quality of a bath? And there are several. Now, again, like I said, even if you don't have any of these things, you can still take a nice, relaxing bath. But if you want to kick it up a few notches, as Emerald would say, Emerald Lagasse, if you want to kick it up a few notches, there are some things that can really help accentuate the experience. So the first one is Epsom salt. Epsom salt, you can get it online. You can get it at most pharmacies. You can get it lots of places. I have recommendations for brands and stuff. So if you want to know, just comment and I'll post the links. But so Epsom salt is really nice because when you put it in the bath, it will soothe, moisturize, and soften the skin. So it's really nice for pampering. It's really nice for relaxing. And honestly, it sort of is, it almost adds a massaging effect just to the water. So if you've ever swum in the ocean, right, you know that it's the salt water does something amazing for your skin. It's a really beautiful experience. And you can recreate that in the privacy of your own home if you take a bath with Epsom salt. Really great. Now, this is something that I didn't know about, but I did some Google research looking up how to take a relaxing bath. And one of the things that I found was that it's really good to add olive oil. Most of us cook with olive oil. Many of us have olive oil in our cabinets. It's something that a lot of us carry. And whether it's extra virgin or just regular olive oil, I use regular olive oil because I don't need the virgin for this. But taking some olive oil, putting about maybe a quarter of a cup or maybe a half cup into the bath really helps to moisturize and smooth and make your skin glow. It's really nice. And it feels nice. And it's really relaxing. One of the other things that you can add are essential oils. And of course, there are all sorts of different scents. And one of the things that I like to do is I like peppermint. So peppermint is an essential oil that gives you energy. It makes you vibrant. It makes you wake up. It makes you refreshed. Another favorite of mine is sandalwood. Sandalwood is more so for calming, for relaxation, for reflectiveness, and for meditative. And if you want an alternate to peppermint, you can also use citrus. Citrus and orange orange essential oil are pretty good for giving that vibrant awakening. Now, a lot of people really enjoy lavender, and I do understand a lot of people like it. It is soothing, it is relaxing. It's not personally my favorite scent. It's not something that I use myself, but I know a lot of people enjoy the relaxation and the calming nature of lavender essential oils. So that's a nice one as well. One of the other things that is really nice for the experience, and you can go, they have all sorts of ranges of prices for these, so it doesn't have to break the bank. But these are candles. If you are in your bathtub or in your bathroom and you turn off all the lights and you just light 2 or 3 candles and you leave it next to the bathtub, it is such a nice, cooling, relaxing experience. A lot of us are overstimulated. We've got smartphones, we've got cell phones, we've got computer screens, we've got the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Our sensory organs are completely overloaded, like all of this stuff going on, and turning off all the lights and just lighting a few simple flames. It is such a good exercise in relaxing, smoothing, bringing it down, calming it down, and allowing us to have peaceful, tranquil time just to ourselves. And again, it increases the sort of the, I don't want to say romantic, but the intimate nature of that time that we're spending with our Lord and that we're spending nourishing and taking care of our own selves. It's a very beautiful experience to be in that dim light and just not be worried about everything that's going on and not be overstimulated and have your brain going crazy, just to chill out and relax. One of the other things that I've done recently, I'd say in the last 6 months or so, I was traveling and I wanted to get a universal adapter for when I was traveling internationally. And in that same computer store, I ended up getting something which I hadn't considered, but I found it. And it was a wireless Bluetooth speaker. So it connects to my cell phone. It doesn't require wires. It charges, just like a cell phone charges. And the nice thing about it is I can connect my smartphone and my Bluetooth speaker, and I can listen to anything for as long as I want. So sometimes I'll play smooth jazz, soft jazz music, light jazz. Sometimes I'll play nasheeds or religious music. Sometimes I'll play dua, and sometimes I'll play Quran. And it really depends on the mood. It depends on what I'm trying to get out of the experience. And sometimes I turn off the music altogether. But having that speaker really allows you to just enjoy that time and not feel like everything else is going on. And one of the things that I recommend that you do especially if you have an Android phone. I don't know about iPhone, but if you have an Android phone, you can turn on airplane mode. That way it disconnects all of your cell phones. You won't get a phone call in the middle or Facebook alerts or whatever. And then turn on just Bluetooth. That way it can connect to the speaker. You could also, if you don't have a Bluetooth speaker, you could also get a wired speaker. And then just plug it in with a wire. So either way it works. Generally speaking, I try to avoid Bluetooth for various reasons, but if you don't have another option, a Bluetooth speaker works great, or just a regular speaker. Listening to that music while you're in the bath is something that is incredibly relaxing, and it really accentuates the experience. So one of the other things that I like to do is I like to bring with me my favorite sweet snacks and my favorite hot or cold drink. So I will give myself, somewhere between 20 minutes to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. And I'll tell myself, no, this is my time. I am not going to be disturbed. I'm not going to answer email. I'm not going to answer Facebook. I'm not going to answer anybody. I'm just going to take this time and relax. And by doing that, I bring snacks in with me and I have something nice. And it's really, really pampering. It's really nice. And you get to enjoy it. You get to enjoy your solitude. You get to enjoy that peaceful atmosphere, and you're enjoying your favorite snacks or your favorite drinks. There's actually a chocolate. I'm diabetic, and so I usually eat low carb. And there's something called Skinny Me chocolates, which are actually pretty good. I've had a lot of low carb desserts that taste like bread, or not even like bread. They taste like drywall almost. Taste disgusting. But these chocolates are pretty good, and they're decently priced. But I really enjoy those. And sometimes I will. I admit, sometimes I'll eat regular cookies instead, just as a treat. But usually, I try to stay good with this, and I'll enjoy the Skinny Me chocolates. One of the other things that I like to do is to have one of two different kinds of tea. So I'm not much of a coffee person. I really enjoy tea. One of them is called Red Sadaf, or it's called Sadaf tea, but they have three different kinds in different colored boxes, and I like the Red Sadaf which is actually Earl Grey. And what I'll do is I'll add the Earl Grey, and I'll add a little bit of sweetener, and I'll add milk, and usually I'll add cinnamon and nutmeg on top, just to make it extra decadent. Again, you can just drink black tea, or you can amp it up and kick it up a few notches and accentuate the enjoyment out of everything that you're doing. Right? Just ways to enjoy and pamper yourself. It's a really nice experience. One of the other things that I'll do if I'm not in the mood for the caffeine is I'll drink chamomile, either straight chamomile tea, or I'll drink like the Sleepy Time Celestial Seasonings. Those are some of my favorites. And again, I'll sweeten it, and sometimes I'll add milk, sometimes I won't. Those are some nice things that I like to bring with me to accentuate the bath experience. Now you may be wondering, Omar, you're in there for 30 minutes for an hour. What on earth are you doing in there? And I want to share that there are certain things, activities that you can do, sort of non-active activities, if you will, that are really helpful for really making this experience delightful. So one of them is actually deep breathing. So one of the things that I do as I'm filling the bath and as I'm adding the essential oils and I'm adding everything in there, getting it all ready. Once it's all done and I've turned off the water and I've gotten into the water, I will just start taking really long, deep breaths. And something in our culture especially, we don't really think about the way that we breathe. And a lot of us now are exposed to yoga and meditation and all these other kinds of things. But there are many arts of the beauty of breath. And one of the things that you can do, and you can do it along with me now if you'd like, you just put your hand on your heart, right? And you take a deep breath in. Deep breath in. And you can really feel the stress melting away. You can feel your mind still quieting, getting more calm, getting more relaxed. You feel your heartbeat slow down, and it calms it. And you feel more relaxed. And whatever tension you start feeling, it starts releasing. Those first 10 deep breaths really help to set the mood. And one of the ways you can, there are more meditation classes and things you can go into and deep breathing classes, but one of the general pieces of advice that I share is that as you're breathing in, you want to extend the amount of time it takes you to breathe in. And then when you hold it, try to hold it a little bit longer. And then when you release it and try to release it longer than you bring it in. So if you inhale for 2 seconds, try to exhale for 3 seconds. And as you continue to do it, you're drawing in more breath and then you're letting it all out. And something about letting all of that breath out really relaxes, and it actually causes you to take another breath, which helps you to calm down even more and get into that relaxation. One of the things that I use as a telltale sign for me is that as I'm drawing in my breath longer and exhaling longer, what I'll find is that I start to feel just a little bit lightheaded. And that lets you know that you're pushing your lungs as far as they can go and as relaxing as they can go. And when you're doing that, it's helping to give you that calm and that peace. And that feeling of lightheadedness means that your heart and your mind and your brain even is drowning for oxygen, but you're feeding it everything, and it's so satiated that you feel more relaxed and at peace. A lot of us, again, walk around with short breaths, half breaths. Deep breathing is really one of the best things that you can do inside the bath and out of it, right? One of the other things that I like to do in the bath is self-massage. So whether it's head massage, whether it's neck massage, whether it's the shoulders, the sides, all around the body, really. But just gently massaging yourself. And actually, funny story, I got a book called How to Give Massage, or I think it's called Massage for Dummies. And it was a decent book, like it was a good one. But one of the things that it talks about is how much enjoyment and how much, really feelings of love and feelings of nurturing comes through the touch, through the expression of physical touch. Especially we know this with kids, right? When a child is very sad or upset, when you hug them and when you rub their shoulders and rub their hands, they feel better instantly. And I think you can remember a time when you were a child and you weren't feeling so well, when someone rubbed you on the shoulder or gave you a hug or gave you a kiss or whatever. That physical touch helps to relieve so much anxiety. Well, if there's no one else around with you, you can do that for yourself, with yourself, just by giving yourself a nice neck massage and a shoulder rub. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I was doing it here, I usually cross my arms. So my right arm will massage my left shoulder and vice versa, because obviously it's kind of hard to reach the same side. But again, the self-massage, it helps to accentuate the experience. It helps to nourish. It helps to make that loving feeling so strong. And it's really self-nurturing. It's a really beautiful experience. Again, if you try this, and I'd love to hear it if you end up trying this yourself, but I'd love to hear what your experience is like. Because again, I've experienced it for myself and I enjoy it, but you'll never know how refreshing it can be until you try. So one of the other things that I make sure that I do are actually affirmations spoken aloud. And, when you are calming down, when you're stilling your breath, when you're relaxing, when you're unwinding and you're calming down, there's going to be a point in which your mind starts to clear. And when it clears, all of a sudden, new thoughts are going to come into your mind. And a lot of us are bombarded by negative thoughts. One of the most common ones, especially when you're taking a nice relaxing bath, is, I shouldn't be in here. I should be doing something else. I should be doing my laundry. I should be doing the dishes. I should be doing my homework. I should be going to work. I should be doing something else. I should not be taking care of myself. I should be doing something else, quote unquote, better and more important. But taking care of ourselves is so important. How can you help the rest of the world if you can't even help yourself? when these negative thoughts come in, we need to speak positive affirmations. I deserve this time of peace and tranquility. Yes, I have other obligations, but I can't fulfill them until I take care of myself, until I'm strong enough to take care of the things that need taking care of. Taking that time is so important. And speaking those positive affirmations, those positive messages of self-love and self-worth are so powerful. And again, it's what makes this bath time such an immense relaxation and a relief for the mind and for the emotions. So one of the other things that you can do is actually take a little dip, right? So you filled out the bathtub and it's full as full as it can go before it reaches the top. One of the things that you can do, and it really depends on your body type and how tall and how short you are. I'm actually very short, so I can kind of fit in there quite easily. But even if you're a taller person, you can still submerge yourself. There's a technique that I learned, that I sort of discovered on my own, which is when you are laying in the bathtub, if you cross your legs like a pretzel, what they call Indian style, if you cross your legs, you can, and if you push your butt down towards the faucet and you lift your knees into your chest, you can actually expand yourself, and you put the tip of your head at the back of the bathtub, and you'll be able to fit. Almost any body type, as long as you fold up your legs, you can generally fit in the bathtub, and you can completely submerge your head under the water. And taking that nice dip is really nice. It's nice when you are experiencing it. If you're listening to music or Quran or dua or nasheed or whatever else, it's nice to be able to hear the music or whatever you're listening to hear it above the water, which gives it clarity and relaxation and power. But if you submerge your ears under the water and you submerge your head, not all the way under, obviously, so you're holding your breath, but just almost put your head in the water so that the water comes up to your ears and then a little bit past your ears, so that your nose is still above the water, right? You're still able to breathe, and you can and your sense of hearing is affected by submerging it underwater, right? And it gives an interesting experience, a very I don't want to say new age, but it's kind of a psychedelic experience. It's a really nice transition when you're listening to the things that you enjoy in a different way than you usually experience them. It heightens certain things, it dampens other things, and it's a really nice experience. So taking a nice little dip is really nice. And sometimes if you want, you can hold your breath and hold your nose and dunk under for a little while and just relax for a few seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Obviously don't struggle, don't hold your breath too long or whatever. Just dunk yourself under and allow the water to caress your body and to caress your head and to caress your soul, really. It's a really nice experience. So one of the other things that you can do is to do dhikr or recite Quran, right? So as you're in the bathtub, imagining that you don't have the speaker on, you don't have your phone on playing anything, if you just take your time, reciting dhikr and reciting Quran can be a beautiful experience. Think to yourself, what verses are coming to my heart right now that I'd like to express? What verses of scripture are coming on my mind that I'd like to share? What am I tuned into? And just share whatever comes to you, It can be a very nice and relaxing experience as well. Now, one of the other things that's really nice to do is to make dua, is to make supplication to God. Ask God for whatever your needs are. Speak to him, talk to him, make communication. You are here all in his company, and there's no one else to distract you. What better way and what more enjoyable way to connect with the Lord of the universe than in a relaxed and calm and tranquil environment? It's such a nice experience. And when I talk about dua, I generally talk about it, there's actually what's that? I guess it's an anagram, or it's an abbreviation, right? An acronym, that's it. So there's an acronym that I like. It's called ACTS, ACTS, which stands for Adoration, Confession, Thanksgiving, and Supplication. So adoration is obviously praising God. adoring God, saying how honorable he is and how great and magnificent he is, which we as Muslims know a lot about. Then there's confession, which is when you're mentioning the things that you've done wrong, and you're mentioning your mistakes and asking for forgiveness for them, right? Repentance, tawbah. And then we have thanksgiving, which is saying all the things that you're appreciative of, all the things that you're so blessed to have in your life and you're so thankful for, and you're taking this opportunity, this time that you're nurturing your own soul and you're cherishing who you are, and you're thanking God for giving you that blessing. That's a very beautiful opportunity. And again, supplication, asking God for your desires, telling him all of the things that it is that you need and that you're wishing for and that you're hoping for. And whenever possible, making intention to take action towards those goals whenever you can. But allowing Allah to enter into this discourse, to be there with you as you're feeling this relaxation and this calmness. So I would like to give you a few tips, and I said this a little bit earlier, but you want to give yourself at least 20 minutes in the tub. I'm not talking about 20 minutes from when you start turning on the water. I'm talking about 20 minutes from when the tub is full, all the ingredients are in, all of your snacks and everything is there, the candles are lit, the lights are off. Give yourself at least 20 minutes to enjoy it. What I generally recommend is 35 minutes or longer if you can. And again, you may feel at some point, oh my God, I've been here for too long. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm bored. Oh my God, what am I doing? But just promise yourself that you're going to take that time and give it to yourself. And another piece of advice, try not to check your watch. Now, me personally, I wear a waterproof watch that has a compass built in. So whenever I need to pray, I know where to go. But I try to take off my watch or not look at my watch too much while I'm taking a bath. I don't want to rush myself. I don't want to feel anxious. I don't want to feel worried. I don't want to feel pressured. I want to take that away and just enjoy the present moment. Again, one of the most beautiful things about the bath experience is that you are truly in the present moment. You're not worrying about the future. You're not thinking about what you have to do tomorrow. You are simply right there in that moment, taking your time for yourself. And that's a very beautiful experience. So one of the other things that you can do, and this is my advice, when I'm setting the bath, I will generally start with a shower. Like I'll start feeling the temperature of the water, and then I'll turn it off and I'll make it a little bit hotter than I'm usually comfortable with in the shower. And this does two things. Number one, when you take the shower first and your whole body is wet, you get used to the warm water, which means that you feel more comfortable and more tolerant with a higher level of heat. But the reason you want slightly hotter than you usually do in the shower is because after 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, the water gets a little bit cooler. So you want to be in a temperature of water that you don't feel after 5 minutes, oh man, now I'm cold. So that's kind of a downer. And usually if that does happen, there's a solution. Just turn on the hot water as hot as it goes and fill up a little bit more, right? And that way the boiling hot water will mix with the cold water and you'll be fine. But generally speaking, I suggest you make the water a little bit hotter than you're used to. That way the water is a comfortable temperature for even as long as an hour or an hour and a half. I think the longest bath I've ever taken was an hour and a half, and it was heaven. I was on cloud nine. But I think it was a Saturday afternoon. I had just come back from my jiu-jitsu class. I had an event that I was going to that night. I had eaten lunch, and I said, you know what? I have no obligations in this moment. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to dedicate this time to myself, and I'm going to reserve this time for myself. And you may find that people will ask you when you've scheduled this for yourself, they'll say, oh, are you free at this point? And you'll cancel your appointment with yourself and you'll take your appointment with someone else, right? If somebody says, oh, do you want to come for dinner? All right, come over for dinner. And I'll say, well, yeah, maybe I'll take a bath another time. But when you give yourself this time, don't take it back. Just like you would be really upset if you made an appointment with a friend and they canceled on you. Don't cancel on yourself. Take advantage of the time that you've given yourself. Honor it and respect it. We respect everyone else's time. Do we ever respect our own time? So those are some closing thoughts. That's my instant solution, instant relief, instant emotional and mind relief. And I hope that you enjoy, I hope that you try it. And if you do try it and you want to let me know about how it went, feel free to leave a comment. For now, I will say Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam, and upon you be peace. Take care.